Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, we are getting very, very close to just understanding what has taken place completely in this new anime that we're getting. Well, I guess it's not really that much new, but this new adaptation of this anime, we're finally understanding um, the backstory of a character who kind of was just there, and now we are getting more of a better understanding of why he was introduced so early on. When I had a good I had a good feeling I knew why he was being introduced so early on, but at the same time, it was like, okay, like, did he give the guy the prosthetics? Did he teach him how to make prosthetics? Like, did they have a good relationship? Did they have a bad relationship? And they pretty much just took the time out to make the third episode everything involving this guy's backstory, both of their backstories pretty much involved in one. And I truly appreciate that because not only could they have, like, separated a little bit of, the guy feeling bad about his wife getting killed and him jumping off and stuff, they could have saved that for another episode and made the build up of this guy's backstory 2 episodes long, but seemingly they knew how much they needed to tell and they told it, and I really appreciate that aspect of where they went with this episode as a whole. Not to mention that um, it was definitely going to be one of the questions always going to be asked um, until it was told just who did it for them, how did they do it, and who even taught them how to fight and all that stuff. Because from a straight up infant with no skin, legs, hands, eyes, ears, he knew how to fight all of a sudden the next time we see him. So we got all those question answers, even the time jumps of how long it was taking him to grow and stuff like that. So he grew quite at a normal age, and being the older of the two brothers, him and his other brother that's born relatively close to the time he was abandoned, um, we kind of see the exposition that could be crossed in a negative light or a positive one, and I think that's a great way for these shows to really show their stuff in the sense of, hey, we have two compelling characters that seemingly are already being told, like, hey, these guys have clearly could be, having some history with each other. And if that is the case, what do you think that history could be? And once you find out, did it feel well deserved? Did it feel earned? Like stuff like that. And they even put his, like, the other son's story a little bit in there to kind of add some um, context to just what could be going on with his family after what they've done to him. The mother still misses that baby and wishes she could have pretty much spent a life with her actual firstborn and showed him the world, or treated him the same way the father is treating this son. And now he kind of has a little bit, she has a little bit of, seemingly it looks like she just doesn't care nearly as much for this new child as much as the father does. And I think the father has good reason to be doing that, because I think he honestly believes that what's having an heir to his overall fortune and stuff like that, that is actually healthy and stuff like that, he thinks that he's going to get away with whatever he sold in the process of getting this power, getting this success, getting all these different things. What is his actual price that he's going to pay? What, if any, has he already paid it? Has it not been paid off? The other part is, if this kid goes around taking all of the things that were his and that was taken away from the demons, doesn't that leave us with a bunch of demons that would be super angry at somebody for offering forgiving the guy what he wanted, and then having the same blood of his take it away. Like demons are pretty petty. Like, oh, it's your blood. Your blood is cursed to fight demons. Like they want to find a way to get out of their deals and to get their power back and to be powerful, or maybe even take over that guy's body, which kind of seems like the case. Like he seems kind of demonic after having really no feelings of just throwing a kid away and seemingly been doing it for quite some time. Like he's like, you should be used to this by now in the first episode. So this doesn't seem like anything unnormal for him. So that's kind of like where my whole problem with his character comes in line. Like I can't wait for him to get bopped, or come to find out that even after he earns as many parts of himself, and I'm talking about the main character, even if he earns all of it, maybe there's still a reason he'll have to just beat his dad, or even the brother who was born after him that might have gotten a piece of the pie. So very interesting in that aspect. But the man who was pretty much going around putting prosthetics on, I kind of figured something dramatic had to happen to this man for him to straight up be, oh, that was dirty, to straight up be doing that. And after doing it, he kind of just walks off like nothing happened. He's just like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to go to another battlefield and do this again. Like, he has been through some stuff, and boy, did he go through it. First, he pretty much trained himself to be one of the most ruthless soldiers on the field, as any soldiers probably would try to do. I mean, maybe he was taking it a bit far by crucifying people with nails, or like these crooked looking metal pieces that he was finding, and just pinning them into them to, oh my god, this guy was just brutal. And come to find out, one of those people he had taken out somehow was the father of a kid that he had saved the life of. And by hearing that he was even a part of the war, or that he could have even been the one to kill his father, which I guess makes a whole lot of sense, because I think whatever he uses for the prosthetics, he is still using to that what he used in the war to pin people, he uses for the prosthetics. Sorry, I went backwards there. And I think that was the easier way for this kid to understand just the fact that he definitely was the one killing like countless people and pinning them up there, because they all suffered from the same seeming, death and or like torture on the stake. So pretty rough stuff there. So the kid who he pretty much made a leg for and saved from, like just being one-legged, and not only that, probably still losing blood here and there because they don't have any really good types of doctors and stuff. So prosthetics pretty much stop the bleeding fully, and almost even help the skin start to form around it, creating its own, like, it's really gross. But skin likes to become one with anything that it is enhanced with, and that kind of could become a problem back in that day, because they probably don't have the right types of sockets to not have it enhanced. But that's just me guessing. If it's like being realistic and stuff, it's probably not, so it's all good. But yeah, he then almost gets killed by this kid when the kid finds out about his past and just what he could have. He's the one that probably killed his father and stuff like that. But the only thing that stops him is that this man is still creating these arms, legs, even eyes and stuff like that for everybody without charging them. Living off of the life that he pretty much makes for himself, in the sense of going hunting and just straight up somehow managing, and he's not charging any of these people for any of the work that he does. And he had lines and lines of people who go out and, like samurais come by and cut a kid's arm off for no freaking reason, just because they bump into him, so he could be making a fortune off all these people. But that's not what he thinks his life is for, after throwing himself off a bridge, seeing his wife have her life taken away, because I think by his own comrade as well, because as soon as the person took her life, he didn't do anything about the person. He kind of just had to bite the bullet on that. And it would be simple to me if it was like his commander or just somebody on his team that, hey, this person's going against your will of pinning these people, pin her up too. Like, that's verbatim what this man said after taking out this innocent woman that was trying to stop her husband from turning more into a demon than she already saw him as, maybe. But other than that, though, we just get a good feeling of what the story is going to be placed around. This kid who we've been watching has been agile and living with these prosthetics for all of his life, so I almost feel like there's going to be a big um, disconnect with real flesh and bone when he finds out that if he goes too hard on this leg that he earned or whatever else he's been earning in our other two past episodes, they just don't work as the prosthetics would, and you can't just fix it a little bit and then pop it back on. You got to actually protect those flesh and bones, which would be a very interesting twist to the abilities of being very strong. But at the same time, the man who was taking care of him pretty much told us exactly what I expected, that this, whatever happened to him, gave him these powers to be agile and be all crazy and stuff like that. So imagine if he defeats the last person, becomes human, and he's just as average as he is with a sword, and he doesn't have all the extra abilities like anyone else, but he just has technique and skill. So that's kind of where it bundles down for me on this. I mean, I feel like if you want to do a silent character and even go beyond and beyond just the silent character trope, this man is blind, deaf, he had no sensation of actual feel besides through the prosthetics. He learned that taking life, like what he sees of all things, everything has a soul. And by picking up a flower that had a green soul and ripping it from the ground, he saw that it took its life. So I think out of all the people who we might not understand to be one of the most gentlest, he could be one of the most gentlest characters that we learn later on, just because of how he felt, how he kind of reacted to seeing that this green soul that never even tried to fight him or hurt him still lost its life just because he chose to do something like take it out of the ground. It's stuff like that you can really try to pick apart to see if it's going to play a bigger role with the character, and it makes a lot more sense why he reacts to certain souls that he sees with his blind eyes that kind of like are those fuzzy images, and why he trusts the white ones, the green ones, just like the certain color ones, because they have done nothing wrong to him, including the man who took care of him. So I truly love how this show is playing out. I honestly recommend anybody who hasn't started watching the show to check it out, or let it keep building up, because right now it hurts to wait for some of the best shows right now to be coming out on Mondays, and then just losing so many days until another Monday. But I get to enjoy my job putting up these videos daily, because there's so much anime out there that I can watch and get you guys to try to enjoy with me, so we can talk about them and pass the time a lot quicker by talking about them. That truly makes my day and helps time fly so quickly for these animes to show right back up on the doorstep. So thank you so much, my anime people. I can't wait to see what we become in the years to come, because I don't see myself stopping. This is just for fun, and I love to have fun talking to you guys about anime, so why would I stop? I mean, I even have Anthem now downloading, so I'll have that game in the background for you guys to watch me play, so my channel will keep having better content by the video games, and you guys will keep getting the same anime content from the channel. So thank you so much for the support. I can't thank you guys enough, and I will talk to you in the next one. Alright, peace.